Hello, people. It's your boy Usmaan back again with another Rival Fan podcast. As always, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Bit for a special one. We don't normally record on a Thursday, but as you can imagine, there's so much to talk about. We thought, let's get the boys together. And as you can see, we only got a couple of us. But this is still going to be an absolute banging show. You know, all the opinionated guys are here. Obviously, Kish is kind of irrelevant now, as his team is just basically, you know what is Spurs and the job? They get mugged off by everyone on social platform. Even Gary Neville's mugging them off. He's not even mentioning them. Like left, right, and centre. It's just abuse. So, you know, Kish is having a bit of a break. He's just collecting his thoughts. He's back in the gym on the treadmill thinking about, you know, chasing top four. But listen, as always, get your comments here. Let's introduce the panel. As you can see on my left from West Ham Fan TV, I believe you're still in the top four. Am I right in thinking you're still in the top four? Joint fourth
with Chelsea.
Are you above them?
This
point goal difference.
Joint fourth.
Joint.
Sat in fifth. None the least. Lawless, what are you saying, brother?
Yes, obviously it's good to be here as the Premier League's representative. That's right, obviously representing the Premier League teams against the evil, greedy Super League. I've got to be here to represent the teams of virtue and justice, and yeah, of course, good to be here.
Okay. Justice, you know. Listen, we got the homie here, Iniesta. Connor will be joining us shortly, but listen, speaking of, you know, the Super League teams, is representing one of the biggest, Arsenal. Kale, what are you saying, brother?
All I'm going to say on the Super League is that Arsenal were roped in by the greedy, and the hungry, and the hoarders that are Man City, Chelsea, and Liverpool.
Completely agree. Completely agree.
And Man United. Let's not forget Man United.
Honest to God, I'm all for taking the piss out Man United because it means we're abusing the Glazers, and I'm all for that. So by all means, any digs at Man United, I will join you. I won't dig back. So you know, so good. But listen, just quickly, as he's mentioned that there is a protest at Old Trafford. I don't know why I had to stumble on that. At OT Trinity statue, 3 p.m. Saturday. I'm going to be there. I know all the other sort of major influencers are going to. I'm not one of them, by the way. But the other ones that side.
Soon come, bro. Soon come.
You know, it's all good. I don't really
I tell you who's going to be there, Usmaan. Who's going to be there? A hero of Man United, a misunderstood hero.
Here we go.
Ed Woodward. I think apologies are due. Apologies are owed. The guy is a martyr for Man United. He basically spoke up against the Super League to the Glazers. It cost him his job. He was the good guy all along. Misunderstood hero. He's not the hero you deserve. He's not the hero you deserve. He's the hero you need, and you do not deserve Ed Woodward. And now he's gone, and now you'll regret it.
Right. Okay. My response to that, and I tweeted it out as well. You know, it's not me saying I don't want to marry J-Lo because I'm waiting for Rihanna. It's utter BS. Like, it's not gonna happen. If J-Lo's knocking on my door, I'm gonna marry J-Lo. Right. Now listen, Woodward and this whole nonsense is just so fake. So apparently, a guy that's been chasing nothing but sponsorship deals, money, is a banker by trade, doesn't want to spend. But just FYI, by the way, Lawless, I know you're just throwing it in there, but just to give you a bit of backstory on Woodward, a bit of recent history for you. When we signed Bruno Fernandes in January, we was meant to actually sign him in summer, but he didn't want to sign him. Guess how much it was for? 2 million extra. So we almost missed out on Bruno Fernandes for 2 million. He almost did a Wenger 40 million on £1. You know, he was running. Man was
to Wenger's credit, to his credit, that should have worked.
He could have signed it.
Why? Why should it have worked?
Because it was over the minimum fee release clause.
Yeah, but Liverpool are going to be like, no, I'll sell it to someone who's going to pay me more than 40 million plus one.
He had a minimum fee release clause.
It was to trigger. Yeah, but you could trigger the release clause, but they'll still choose the high. They can still choose to go for the highest bid.
Oh, yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like they can.
Absolutely, but technically, it should have worked.
Because imagine, if you come along, like if I see a club is paying 40 million plus one for Suarez, and I'm like, geez, they're trying to pay that cheap. Let me just go and slap a 60 mil over here and see what happens. Like, that's what I'm gonna do. You just alerted Barcelona to be like, wait a minute.
I think he went the season after, didn't he? He didn't go that season.
Did he not?
How do you?
So.
Unless
I'm not sure, to be honest. I've got to be honest. I'm not.
Yeah, the time.
Sure. Either way, he's an absolute rat.
Then he rejected you. Then really, that must have been the thing. He must have just rejected
Liverpool rejected us, which is technically illegal, and so we should sue them. I think.
I agree.
Hey, listen, let's not talk about suing.
I agree. I think you should sue him for a Premier League title. That's what I would love to say. Just take the title off him.
We ain't got three, mate. I don't know. We're fine.
I'm not saying it because of you. I'm saying so they don't have one.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Let's make it sure.
That was no obviously dig at you know. But listen, regarding Woodward, this comment here, Woodward the Martyr. Where did this narrative come from? Yeah, I don't think any Man United fan believes that nonsense that has been posted today. If you do, then I don't want to use the word, but you are deluded. I'm sorry, mate. You know, as I said, Mom was saving 2 million just to come buy another yacht. It is what it is. The only positive is, you know, he's kind of passing the blame onto the Glazers, which is kind of what we want because he's gone now anyway. So I don't really care if he's saving face from his perspective because my opinion on him is not going to change. By all means, if he wants to dig a bigger hole for the Glazers, it'd be my guess. But anyways, let's move on to another legend, CEO, chairman. I don't even know what his role is actually. President of the club, Perez of Real Madrid, of course. As we all know, the Super League, you know, one of the longest periods of history, those 2 days. Oh my Lord, it felt like ages, you know, trying to overturn the Super League. However, Perez, as always, has come out and spoken. When does he not speak? Him and Raiola, they've got to be related, surely. Them two just constantly spouting shit. But anyways, his quotes here, the project is on standby. The Super League still exists. Lawless, what are your thoughts on that? First and foremost, you know, from a perspective of someone who's representing the real clubs in England, should we say? What is your thoughts?
Yeah, I was just saying this before we came on live. Like he's weirdly growing on me. This guy, I don't know why. He just cracks me up. Like this guy is just not giving up. He's not letting it die. He's saying all the clubs, the contracts have been signed. They're still there. No one's left yet. Like we're still a part of this. The Super League ain't dying. And look, I've said this before. I wanted it to happen. I wanted to see these clubs leave and see it basically just all blow up in their faces because it would have been a disaster. It would have been an absolute disaster. They would have had to come crawling back. I'm telling you, this is the thing. You don't think like these clubs go to the Super League, we'd all suffer. You'd be living it up in this amazing league. Everyone would be like, no, it would be dead. I'm telling you. And this is the thing. Dead? It would be dead.
Why?
It'd be dead because basically, especially for like you guys, particularly, and especially Cahill, because look at it this way. With Arsenal, right? If they was to go in as they are, slapped every week. Now, a lot of Arsenal fans have said, yeah, but obviously, like, we're going to have all this money, so we're going to be able to spend to compete with the likes of Barcelona, the likes of Real Madrid. Where have we heard that before? We're going to move to a stadium. Once we move to the Emirates, we'll be able to compete with all these players. What happened? All that would happen is Kroenke would be like, cool, extra money. Hello, Rams. Let's get that Super Bowl. Like, come on, like, let's be real. And the thing is, it wouldn't have mattered. Like, he could have kept the whole point that you guys, your success, money wouldn't have been based on your success in that league, would have meant that you'd have just been in limbo. Like, your clubs would not have to have tried to go and compete for the Super League title for you guys, for them to get paid, for them to get more money. Like, you would have got guaranteed money. So it would have been crap. The people, like, think about it, that system as well. What, you think it would have been good?
No, I'm not.
I'm not saying personally that our teams would have been any good, but I don't think.
No, I'm saying
competition. It wouldn't be exciting.
No, because here's the thing. Yeah, no. At the start, I'm not like the first. I'm not saying it would have blown up, boom, straight away. Eventually, like at the start, it's like, oh wow, we're gonna see like Barcelona versus Juventus, like every single season, amazing, 2 games a year, like. But the thing is that's gonna get old, and that competition style is a very American style that the rest of the world aren't accustomed to. Not just England, Europe, South America, like all of these other countries that are used to watching football, not soccer, aren't accustomed to that. We don't want to see, who wants to see 5th place win the flipping league, win the Super League? Like you can finish 5th and win the thing. Do you know what I mean? And then all the other teams, the thing is, a lot of the other games by mid-season are going to be boring, waste of time games. Say you've got AC Milan and Spurs, midway in the season. They're like 15 points off of 5th, right? Their game has no bearing. Their game don't matter. So who's going to care like what they're doing because they're nowhere near getting in the playoffs?
I feel like the narrative of there not being any stories to tell within this league is wrong because
what are the stories though outside the top 5?
Outside the top 5, it depends on who gets here. I mean, you say Arsenal would. I think Arsenal get battered every week. Don't get me wrong, but there is a hypothetical story that a team like Arsenal could eventually progress up the ranks, sneak into a playoff position, and eventually they win the thing. That's a narrative in itself. I mean, that happens all the time in basketball. You know, Toronto Raptors were outside favorites to win the NBA. They won it. Obviously, I don't know anything about NFL, so I can't tell you about that. But in terms of basketball, there are a whole bunch of teams that aren't in the top 2 or 3 positions that do win the league title. And that,
but even if Arsenal are up there, say Arsenal do get up there, then the teams that aren't up there, their games have become dead. It just swaps like those games. So you're going to have all these fixtures.
But it all depends on how close it is, though. I mean, if it's like 5 points,
exactly. If it's a few points in it, then obviously
2 teams in the playoffs. That's interesting.
But they want but that's what I'm saying. They wanted 20 teams. Their goal was to have 20 teams. There's no way, like, say you got the top 5, like hypothetically, you might have 8 teams all in contention for those places. So that means the other 12 teams, their games become dead rubbers. They become bored. Like there's nothing to play for. There's no like with our league, we have 7 places essentially that you can compete for to get into Europe. Then we have 3 relegation places. Then you get those teams that are kind of like 11th, between 11th and 13th that aren't doing anything. Their games are a bit like meh. But there's more games that are meaningful in this league, whereas it's only those top games. And then like the whole thing is coming first means nothing. Like you can finish first and not win the Super League. So those games, think about it, loses the state. It's all about that.
But obviously they're trying to make it to that sort of Super Bowl nonsense, you know. Obviously, that was the whole sort of thing.
Like imagine this, Usmaan, right? Say take our league for example. We've got a top 4 race going on, yeah. Imagine now if it was just a top 5 race and there was no team that was going to win the league. Like, so Man City doing their madness or whatever, and you guys looking to catch them, or when Man City and Liverpool, that would not matter. It don't matter what team finishes top. Like, all that matters is you're in that category. And then it don't get excited until you get to the knockout format, really. So a lot of the time, if you're a neutral, you might just go, let me just catch it a little bit down the line. I don't like they're not. It becomes to the point where they're not must-see games anymore. They're not. You know what I mean? Like they're not must-see because they're not like the whole exciting. Like, okay, we ain't seen these teams play, or they're playing for this. Like the stakes are everything.
Look, I do hear that. I hear that like this sort of novelty will run off sort of point of view, because I think I think that's the same with everything in life, to be honest. I think a lot of people are spoiled. You know, take us Man United fans, for example. You know, we've won so many titles in the past. Like, let's just say we win a League Cup like every season now, we'll be like, we won't be happy with that because we're so spoiled with the best.
Like second place isn't good enough.
Yeah, exactly. Like second place isn't good enough. You sacked. Like, moving on. But yeah, let's move away from the Super League thing. I think you made some valid points in terms of obviously excitement stuff, but I don't want to dwell on it too much because at the moment it's off. We'll come back to it in a year when it's on. Basically, we'll come back to it.
Apparently, it's not over. Like, so
it's not over.
You're still signed up. So
I think.
But this is the next comment that's going to lead me on to the reason why it's not over. Actually, again, quoting Perez, as always, the Don. You know, it's quite evident because of the pandemic. A lot of teams are losing out on money. In particular, Spurs not only have they lost out on money, but then they're going to sack their manager thinking they're going to get this money, which was hilarious. That was a huge L. But Perez saying players like Haaland and Mbappe can't sign without the Super League money for Madrid, Barcelona, etc. and so forth. I think he's kind of alluding to the Spanish teams a lot. I don't think the English teams needed the Super League as much in terms of financially. But the point he's making is like, you're not going to see without well, basically what he's trying to say, there's not enough money in football at the moment. And this is obviously an avenue for them to increase the money to sign these big players. Like, for me personally, right, this is just me throwing the eye. Super League aside of what Perez has said, I think this is this pandemic thing, in terms of for football, it's a blessing. because it stops the big teams and includes my team here as well. Although I would love for us to spend a lot of money, but it levels the playing field out a lot. And that this is the issue. The problem I have at the moment is UEFA have had an absolute nightmare because they've played the FFP card, like get rid of FFP for a season so teams can like regain ground. How does that make sense? The whole point of FFP is to level the playing field out. And whether you like it or not, the pandemic has done that because a lot of teams have lost money and they can't force. Like, for example, Man United can't go and buy Rice and Sancho realistically because we haven't got the money to do so.
They wouldn't have in the first place, though. I don't think that would have pre-pandemic. I don't think you would have got both in the same season.
No, potentially we couldn't. But what I'm saying is, with the pandemic happening now, there's absolutely no chance of that happening. And the good thing about that is it levels the league out because, like, we, as Lola said, you know, even way back in the day, you know, we'd be able to take your players. We can't take your players because most teams don't need to sell. But now, because of the pandemic, we haven't even got the money to do that and go and show our authority over teams. Like,
I mean, City do, Chelsea do. Chelsea spent in a kind of
Chelsea quite clearly
spent 200 million.
Yeah. They did have the transfer ban though, which did it did make it so that they sort of spent like two windows in one. Not to excuse them at all.
Man United and Liverpool can't spend. Like, I don't know if you're aware that Liverpool.
Well, I don't think Liverpool could spend anyway. But
Arsenal, because of the pandemic, he made it even worse for them.
I don't understand the Liverpool though, because their net spend isn't like as high as even new.
It's their owners. They don't want to.
They don't spend money.
They won the league and the Champions League. Like that's some hundreds of millions coming into their.
That's why Liverpool fans hate the owners. Because their owners are like Kroenke, basically. You don't want to spend money. They're kind of similar in that sense. But the point I'm making is, obviously, the pandemic in that sense has helped other teams catch up to Man United and Liverpool here. Because realistically, them two can't spend. Obviously, like you said, Man City and Chelsea can't spend because they're just powerhouses. And I think FFP being removed is an absolute mistake. But, Kale, what are your thoughts in terms of, obviously, what Perez said, in terms of Mbappe and Haaland? Them players can only move with the Super League money, or do you think it's still not viable for big money signings, so to speak?
I mean, there was less money in the game a few years back, and Neymar went for 170, and Mbappe went for 200 million. So I think that's absolute rubbish. There is money to spend, especially when you realize that Haaland has a release clause that's activated next season, but that transfer is going to happen, and Mbappe's got a year left on his contract. I think 120 million, which can be spent, or maybe 100 million, which can be spent by a lot of clubs, or especially the big ones, City, Chelsea, maybe not the Spanish clubs because of the outrageous amounts of debt. I think Barca like 1.3 billion pounds in debt. Real Madrid can't use the Bank of the King anymore in their favor to try to finance their move. So I think in terms of Spain, he's correct, but isn't that? I feel that's more arrogance on him expecting an Mbappe and a Haaland to want to come to either Madrid or Barcelona and not to say the Premier League, where I imagine they're going to earn a lot more money. Because once you deep it, a lot of players when they go to Barca or they go to Real Madrid, they take massive pay cuts. I mean, I'm not the world's smallest violin, of course, because they still earn a lot of money.
Yeah.
But they still have to take pay cuts, and that's because of the practices of those two clubs where they just absolutely spend ridiculously and never accounted for the consequences. The consequences have now come to bite them in the backside. But in terms of England, City can afford him. Chelsea can afford them. I think to an extent, Bayern can afford them as well. So I think those two are almost guaranteed to move in the next 2 seasons.
Yeah, Lolas, what do you reckon? Obviously, it seems like the Premier League teams in particular, they're still going to have a massive window. Do you think that there should be some sort of restrictions? Someone's put a transfer cap. I don't know what the hell that is.
No.
I guess that means, like, obviously, if they said, like, no team... Yeah, like, but rather than... I think a transfer cap would look like no team could spend more than this in a given window. Say they said, like, 100 million. Like, no team can spend more than 100 mil, which is an interesting idea because that does...
Every team in the world would that apply to every team in the world? I don't think it will.
No, like, it wouldn't.
Including the salary cap as well, like that wouldn't work.
The only problem with that is obviously we're talking about Premier League. If it was only Premier League, it hinders us against the European teams when we go into Europe.
Absolutely,
it hinders our ability to.
Super League wanted. to raise their financial profile so they can compete with England.
But the problem is they only wanted certain teams to be able to compete, not everyone to have that same ability. Yeah, FFP. The problem is with FFP is it's the loopholes. Look at Man City. Like they've got away with it time and time again.
They actually, it's not even, they haven't actually done a loophole because I actually did one of my assignments on FFP. They've generally breached the rules. They haven't done a loophole. There are loopholes that is an issue, but they're funny because you can't spend the amount of money they've spent without recouping it. It's not possible. And also, in terms of wages, they shouldn't be allowed to fork out that many wages because they don't bring in that much money either. So, like, they've completely cheated the system, and I don't understand. When the lawyer situation happened, they should not have got away with that.
I mean, to be honest,
go on, sir.
Sorry to cut you off. Chelsea would have avoided that. Would have breached the rules and got away with a fine if Roman Abramovich didn't have the sanctions put upon him. So it can easily be breached and easily be broken and easily be taken advantage of. If that's the case, then what's the point of FFP? Because it still benefits those at the very tippy top.
There's meant to be a point, but they don't enforce it, which is why that's why UEFA are frauds as well, and that's why everyone's saying it's the lesser of two evils. There's a lot of people in the chat literally not even listen to what we're saying. They're discussing the 50+1 rule. Literally everyone's saying it. They're asking, can you talk about the 51+1 rule? I'm gonna be very honest here. I haven't done my research on it.
Yeah.
I know what it is because obviously I know it's in Germany in particular they do the 50+1. Well, basically this is what I think is. I might be wrong here, but it's basically 50+1, meaning that the 51% ownership of the club belongs to the fans. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just throw it out here because obviously everyone's talking about the chats with me as well. It's funny. I'm gonna say this as well. Boris Johnson, right, has never, from what I'm aware of, I might be wrong again, has hardly ever mentioned football, in his, like, I don't know, whatever, all his sort of speeches and whatnot he does. He hardly ever mentions football. All of a sudden, he tweets out about the 50+1 rule and how he's like fully pushing it. You see, Gary and Carragher and Sky talking about the 50+1. They've never mentioned it before the Super League. Why is it taking something like this for them to finally wake up? I know people can say it's better late than never, but for me personally, I think it's just a lame excuse because I think it's not like, and again, I'm speaking to, this is actually a great panel here because all three of our owners are absolute dog shit. So this is perfect. We could have had a Newcastle fan in here as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's a new thing that owners have been like this. So, Lois, I'll pass it to you first and foremost. As someone who's been opposed about the owners for a long time, do you feel like that's something that would benefit your club, and do you think it's something that needs to be implemented?
Yeah, it's such a tough one because I know there's a lot of pros and cons in German football. It sounds really good on paper, the idea of fans having, like, the 50+1 rule stopped Bayern Munich and Dortmund entering into the Super League. So it's really good for things like that and helping stop any of these outlandish decisions by the club. Obviously, there are times where it can be an issue, but the thing is, I don't know if it's actually possible for it to happen in this country. And the reason why, surely fans would have to buy the shares, right? Now, if you're Man United, your club is worth £4 billion. What fans? Apparently. But what fans are going to be? How you're going to have to get a lot of fans to group together to get 51% of the. So basically, say 51%, just over like 2 billion, right? That is what the fans are going to have to spend to buy and share 51% in Man United. It's never going to happen.
Conor McGregor's interested. He's
with his, like, however, 50 million or 100 million, however much he's worth.
So
like,
I think there was somebody replied to, like, Talksport, and it's the video of Michael Dapper saying, I think you don't have the facilities to do this. Come on, man. Just stop it.
Yeah. It can't. It's too late. It's too late. 50+1. If we wanted to do that, we should have done that like back in the 80s or the early 90s. The beginning. When it was created, the Premier League. It's romantic. It's a good idea. Like, it's a nice thought, but never ever happening.
Yeah, well, there you go. It's unanimous. It seems that all of us agree on that. I personally hear that. I think what I will add to that is that you obviously do the fair and proper test, don't they, when an owner comes in to say, I want to do own the club, so to speak. What do they do in that test? Like, I feel like I need to know because there's no way Man United's owners, Kroenke, right, who've literally both of them have not bought a single penny into the club. They shouldn't be allowed to the pasta. Obviously, Golden Sullivan, Mike Ashley. Like,
when was it bought in? I don't think it was bought in years. I think it was.
It was
I
like
think
1990s, was it not? Or
Was it?
Early 2000s? I might be wrong.
Even still, I mean, the Golden
Redo
Sullivan.
it. They should redo
I
it.
can understand Golden Sullivan not passing it because of how much they ruined Birmingham City. But if you're the Glaziers and you're Kroenke or whatever, and all your track record is we've got this team and we've run it well in
Glazers bought Man United on debt. They haven't actually physically put their own money into the club yet. Like,
yeah, no, but that's what I mean. Like that's something they did after they got the club. Like, all of the bad things that these owners have done have happened after the sale, basically. So they bought the club, then they started doing all of the madness and not invested. So that's the only thing.
Yeah, no. To be honest, I personally think the Glazers shouldn't have passed it. Like, obviously, I'm gonna say that because I hate them.
But what would it be based on though? Like them not.
That's the thing. It seems like it's more
the manner in which they bought the club.
Not bought the club. I think it's the manner in which they made their funds. I mean, if they've made it from business deals and stuff like that, rather than
they've got a loan now from a bank for like however much it was.
I mean,
I just don't.
I mean, everybody takes. I think everybody takes some sort of loan in order to buy a club.
But they've not put a single penny. How can they have been there for 16 years and not put a single penny of their own?
I mean, it's business though, isn't it? I mean, you put when a person buys a mortgage on a house, they don't put some might, but most loan money from the bank. So it is what it is. And the government can't pass legislation because it's Boris Johnson, so he won't. He's just all talk right now.
Yeah, he's an absolute flipping crap. Right, listen, let's move on to something that could potentially happen. Obviously, we segued that perfectly. Should the top six be punished? I'm not talking about in the future. I'm talking about this season right now because, people, I know Daniel in particular, obviously not Lawless, or the Daniel Chelsea fan, strong advocate on a no here because he's like, well, it didn't happen, X, Y, and Z, and I know Lawless has a different.
P.S. in the group chat, I had that argument first. Oh, it was me and Lawless, then he decided to come in after.
I think I won him round on his show last night, Eyes on the Ball TV. There's a few of us.
Right, let's see if you can win Kiela around then, because for me personally, but I know what, I'm gonna let you lot speak first. So I'll be the middle ground. Right, Kiel, from your perspective, it's quite clear you don't think they should get points deducted or any form of punishment.
I don't think
why?
I think maybe next season they should get points deducted. I don't think now is the time. As like I said and you've heard, obviously, it hasn't. I mean, in terms of stock prices, yes. I mean, that was the point you made in the group chat as well. I think it was yesterday, Dan. But as you can see now, the stock prices have plummeted from Manchester United. So that's completely eradicated that. There you go. Eradicated that advantage. They didn't make any financial. There's no financial benefit to it. They've not gained an advantage yet from this league, which is going to happen eventually, I think. But as of now, I don't think anything should happen.
Right, interesting. Right, I feel like I want to throw my 2 cents in, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna pass it to you, Lawrence, first. Right.
I think there's an echo going on. It might be from your NK Hill because you ain't got the headset, right?
Let me turn my mic. Hold on.
I feel like it's mine. I don't know why.
No, it's gone now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely killed. Right. Okay. Anyways, right, Lawless, have your say, and obviously I'll give my 2 cents because I've got a thought on it. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it was better. Yeah, I think it might be on your end. Wait. Oh, wait. Let me see. Oh, yeah. It's gone. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool.
It is.
So that's sorted. Yeah. So my thoughts on if the Big Six should be punished.
Bear in mind, you might be able to win the title if it's a lot.
No, do you know what? And I see what Cahill's saying, whether it should be this season or next season. Look, I don't know. Obviously, look, if it's this season, it benefits my team greatly. However, taking myself out of it, I can understand if they did it for next season and they made it happen for next season. The most important thing is, for me, just as a neutral, is that I think there should be some sort of severe punishment involved. Not like a little poxy fine or something like that. There needs to be a big punishment. And I know what Cahill's saying is, what they didn't actually do anything yet, or what they did hasn't affected other teams. Look at when teams go into administration. Well, it's not about gaining an advantage. What advantage do teams gain from going into administration? Yet they still dock them points to rub salt. It's like rubbing salt into the wound. So these teams,
I don't understand why they docking points. It's pretty much,
Yeah.
oh, you're bankrupting the team. You can get out our league now. It seems like they're just sweeping them under the rug.
I think it's because they're breaking rules. You have to have, you have to be able to run the club financially, and you have to be financially stable. I think that's where it is.
But that's the thing is, like, and this is what my problem was when it comes to a lot of this chat about, oh, but it wasn't the fans, it wasn't the players, it's not their fault. You can't punish the fans can't punish the players. Like, literally, no one cares about the fans or the players when it's all of these other clubs: Leeds, Bury, Luton, Bournemouth, flipping.
I think the problem is though, the owners don't care more about the club rather than.
Yeah, but
that's probably why there's a punishment there.
No, but that's the thing is, like, we're with a points deduction, and here's the thing, and this is what I was saying on Eyes on the Ball TV, right? People are talking about getting their violins out for the fans. Oh, it would be so bad for the fans and those poor fans. They didn't do anything. Let's be real. When we're throwing out points deductions, how much is it realistically going to affect your clubs versus when other clubs gets points deductions? They give out points deductions and it near enough ruins clubs. What I mean? It relegates clubs. Say at the start of the season, they say, right, 20 points deduction. What's going to happen? You're going to miss out on Europe for one season. What's the big deal for that? But with other clubs, they could see them drop down to to the Championship, League One, League Two, and things like that. But for now, we're supposed to worry about, oh, well, those poor fans are going to miss out on the Champions League. Like, do me a favor, honestly. Like, no one cared about West Ham when we had the Tevez saga. Yeah,
I was just putting the chat now.
Yeah, we had the Tevez saga, right? And this is the thing about the Tevez saga. We did not that never came up until after the season. When we signed Tevez, no one was talking about it, no one was looking into it, no one was kicking up a fuss. But then as soon as Sheffield United came in and they did what they did, we got a big fine. And that fine that we got, to us and the size of the club we was at the time, our size of club we are, whatever, it affected us with our finances.
But
for a while.
Wouldn't you say you gained an advantage from having Tevez in your team? Because he obviously saved you from relegation, didn't he?
Yeah, but at the same time, but this is what I'm saying. Like, so this is what you're saying, Kay. When I said to you about Aubameyang, like, if kept you up, he's like, we would have found a way. We could have found. You never know. We could have another player like who wasn't Tevez could have played.
It's more likely that I'm basing it off of what we have done this season, considering that Aubameyang's not there, and we're not. I think we're in the same position.
Yeah, but you have made signings this season, though, that you didn't have last season.
Thomas Partey's been a bust. Gabriel, okay, good. But
Willian but Smith Rowe's come through this season, and he wouldn't have come through last season. So you got to factor that, man. He's been.
But that's the thing, and it's a 38 game season, right? So
Kayla's echoing again. I'm just gonna mute you for a second.
Oh yeah, you got echoing again. Yeah. Yeah, like, this is the thing. I'm not saying we didn't gain any advantage, but what I'm saying is, look, it was a 38 game season at the end of the day, and people are pinpointing, oh, it's West Ham and Tevez that sent them down. They had a lot of games where they could have won and picked up points and done better. But it's not so much I'm dwelling on the Tevez saga. I'm not saying that maybe we shouldn't have been punished. It's still a grey area about what that deal was. It's still murky for me. But the whole point is, no one was worrying about West Ham when that decision stopped us. It stopped us making signings.
The fans are never to blame, man. They're never culpable for anything that happens. I'm just gonna throw this in here. I'm gonna be very blunt with it because obviously it seems like you're both like on one side of the fence, so to speak. I 100% think they should get points deducted this season because, and I'll explain why. The reason for it is because it doesn't affect Man United first. I'm joking. It wouldn't affect us,
but we know that Champions League money, especially Arsenal, is something that you covet.
Bias aside, forget that.
Your owners covet.
But what the reason I feel like it has to happen is because of what Perez said, he said that the clubs have signed or agreed. So that means
they signed a contract, a binding contract.
Nothing has come into fruition. I completely understand that. However, they had the intention of doing it. So if there wasn't this backlash, then a lot of the clubs would have went along with it. I just feel like at the end of the day, they breached the rules of the Premier League, which Lawless has put in, what was it, L9 or whatever the hell number it was, that I wasn't even aware of. They breached the rules, which puts the jeopardy of the league or the reputation of the league intact, because at the end of the day, you know, they've signed something. And for me personally, like, it's obviously it's not similar to the Tevez thing, but if you sign something, you agree to something that you're going to do it in August, then you should get punished this year, because they shouldn't get punished next year, because I feel like it doesn't even it's irrelevant next year for me personally, because
you signed it now.
They've not gone through with it, so it's irrelevant. So if they signed it now, I think the points should be taken off them. 10 points, all of them. Like for me personally, it's not fair on the other teams, like West Ham, the Evertons, the Leicesters, and all these teams that are abiding by the rules year in, year out. We've already had the fiasco of FFP when Man City got away with murder. They should have got deducted points for that as well. Chelsea, I don't remember if they got deducted. I know they missed the transfer window. They should have got deducted points for that. And I think for me personally, it's about the integrity of the league. You can't just go behind the league's back and potentially sign to join something else, and then when you get called out for it and then come back on your word 2 days later, oh no, we didn't want to do that. Well, you did want to do that because you wanted more money, so now you gotta pay the ramifications, which is a point deduction. Not only this fine bullshit, because the fines go into God knows whose pocket, and we never see the money anyways. It doesn't go into grassroots like it should do. So yeah, deduct some more points, and you gotta teach them a lesson, because then they'll think twice about doing it the next time. They'll think,
I don't think they will. I think what Perez means by that is they signed a contract. I think they all have, if they officially want to leave as not become and just disassociate themselves with it and not be a founding member, they have to pay that £100 million fine. And I think that fine will only benefit Perez and Madrid and Barcelona and the Spanish league, because I think it goes straight to their pockets.
Will this affect them leaving then, like for real? Like, because they've said they're not part of it and they want to withdraw. But if they have to, when they goes, but you're gonna have to pay 100 mil, they might go, oh, let's not be so hasty.
Well, no, I don't think. I feel like everybody's saying that we've left it, we've officially left it, blah 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 blah. But they have to pay it. That fine. I feel like they want to be a part of this. Everybody and all their owners still want to be a part of this Super League. I feel like it's going to take a bit of reform and it's going to take input from UEFA and FIFA, and it will eventually get pushed through. Maybe not next year, maybe not the year after, but eventually this Super League is coming.
It seems like Man City were the only ones who didn't want to be a part of it, because he did say that Perez were one club.
But I don't think City want to be a part of it, because obviously they don't need to be a part of it. I think that's probably the reason why PSG said no, partly because of the Qatar World Cup.
Yeah, it's definitely because of the Qatar World Cup. I'm not giving them the moral high grounds.
No, not at all. And partly because they financially they don't need it. They're owned by a country. But I feel like it is definitely coming. But then again, to go back to your point of the points deduction on the ban, blah blah blah, it's not affected anybody. I mean, you could say the reputation of the league's been tarnished, but games still
they still broke a rule though. Like for me personally, they still breached rules. And I just done some quick calculation actually. Sorry, let me rephrase that. If it's a 15-point deduction, Arsenal need a relegation zone. There'd be 1 point from safety, so make it 15 points. Let's get
why not make it 30? There you go.
But that's what I mean, Cahill. It goes down to the fact, like I said, when clubs go to administration, it don't affect anyone but them. Them clubs are already stuff.
There was a point deduction, banter aside. Actually would be flirting with relegation. It would be quite hilarious to watch.
But this is what I mean. And people would go, you can't do that to the fans. Like, realistically, if any of these clubs got relegated, like for the rest of us that have actually been through it, do you think we'd be crying? It's like, no, like, let's see how much you want to support your fans.
And also this point here from Abs, 10 points deduction almost guarantees West Ham Champions League football. And I honestly think that is one of the other reasons I wanted, not because it's West Ham. Obviously, Lolas knows that I got a soft spot for them, but I think teams like that need to benefit.
Aren't you from Sheffield?
No, but I think like teams like West Ham, because you got to bear in mind, this is the first time that I can remember, I don't know, Lolas can correct me, that West Ham had a genuine opportunity to get Champions League football, and now these clubs are being
15-16 season.
Oh, sorry, apologies. But
when you finish.
Was that Pirates?
We finished 7th, but I think we were like 4 or 5 points off of the top 4.
Oh,
like Pirates.
Well, either way, these top 6 teams are trying to take it away.
The greatest midfielder in Premier League history, right?
They're trying to take it away from West Ham. And Leicester as well. There was an interview with Brendan Rodgers, and he was saying like, why are Leicester not in it? Like, not saying that he wanted to be in it, but he was kind of baffled as well. Like
Leicester have more of a right to be in it than Tottenham.
Yeah, they won the league 3 years ago. Why are Tottenham over in the Leicester?
Yeah, exactly. Went far in the Champions League, been up and around. Like Tottenham have just become like literally a running joke. Like they've been the butt of all. I know, like Arsenal got it a lot as well, but Spurs, man, they've really got it.
Spurs have been violated. Look at this one from Lanzi, another West Ham fan. They took 10 points this season, then start the 6 on -20 next season.
Do you know what? Like you would, if you're a fan though, like that's what you're saying. You would rather that than 30 in one season. If I'm like one of
10 points to Man
the
United
money
this
six.
season is 10 points to Man United this season is not going to do anything to us.
No,
we're still getting top 4.
Yeah, you would rather have it split over rather than 30 in one
absolutely.
season.
30 points is outrageous. I've got to be honest. Like, didn't Juventus get relegated because obviously it was a match fixing? So
yeah.
So it's not to that extreme. It's nowhere near that.
It's not to that. No, it's not exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think it should be close to 30. But anyways, let's move on to the last couple of topics, which is just to quickly skirt over this. The protests. So obviously, there's been a lot of protests. You've seen the Chelsea one, a lot of content being put out on social platform. By all means, check it out. As we said off air, there's one tomorrow with Arsenal. There's one with Man United on Saturday. I believe Spurs had one, but their fans were going to the shop as well, so that was clever. Well done, lads. Really taught them, men, and bought stuff from the shop while you were there, and they had a little sing song. So I don't.
There was like 40 people there, yeah.
They had a little sing song. Man United fans actually went to Carrington today at 9 o'clock this morning, and they blocked off both roads entrances, so to speak. It was quite peaceful, but stopping the players from getting in for a couple of minutes or so just to send a message. The question I'm going to ask is, do these protests make a difference? And do you feel that's important? I kind of added onto that is this a perfect opportunity for these clubs? So the Man United, well, basically anyone that's trying to get rid of the board really from the top 6. Lolis, we come to you first and foremost. Obviously, that most iconic protest in your stadium from you guys. Oh my god, that was outrageous. But yeah, what do you reckon? That was absolute scenes.
Yeah.
Do the protests make
that wasn't the first time a West Ham fan has done that either. He was paying tribute. No, he was paying tribute when we had the bond scheme in the early 90s, where they was like the club was basically trying to make everyone buy these expensive bonds to guarantee seats and all of these stuff. It was a madness. But there was a pitch invasion. The guy did the thing and he planted the corner flag in the center circle. So he was paying homage to that while making his statement. Right. So a lot of the West Ham fans were like, "Wow!" Like it reminds us, it's bringing us back to that
iconic moment. But what do you reckon? Do you think it makes a difference? Do you think these top 6 clubs? I'm gonna reference the main ones because it seems like Spurs ones are relevant. So Man United, Liverpool, and Arsenal are the main 3 that I'm referring to. Do you think them 3 clubs need to sort of capitalize on this moment here where? Well, let's be honest. The owners, their backs against the wall. We've seen a couple of apologies. Arsenal apology, which Kale, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on that. We've seen the apology from the Liverpool Henry guy. I don't remember his name. And obviously we've had ours. But yeah, Lotus, what do you reckon, bro?
Yeah, do you know the funny thing is that I'm on here with you guys is because I think the clubs that it is, I don't want to say waste of time, but that has the least effect. It's the least effective with is Man United and Arsenal because. They're the owners, I think, that care the least. I was saying it's the Cahill, like it's Kroenke, he's got ice in his veins. He does not care. You can protest. They did a protest like 4 years ago. Arsenal fans outside the ground and all of that.
Do you think there's not a slightly different? It's a slightly different situation because they've been called out, on public domain via people on Sky Sports, etc. And they're quite clearly in the limelight. When has Kroenke or them guys ever put a statement out? Joel Glazer's first time. They know they're under pressure now. Before, when they've done the protest, they weren't under pressure. It seems like
I feel like that's down. It's down to the negative press, what they're going to result. I don't think it has anything to do with the fans.
But now you've got Jamie Redknapp going like, "Oh yeah, maybe let's all calm down now. Like, we've done it. They've got out the league. Let's everyone relax." Yeah, like what? That's what he was saying. So the media now that they've got what they've want because they're bosses, are no longer under threat. Their narrative is back about let's focus on the football again. Let's get back to football. They don't want to see you know what I mean, all of these protests and things. But the thing is,
that's the problem though, isn't it? It's just fake.
Yeah.
It's all BS. They had their own agenda, which was them saving their own sort of money basically, because they wouldn't have had the TV rights. You know, as we know, Sky kind of run everything alongside BT, and these guys, Gary Neville and everyone. Although I was happy with what he was saying, there was an ulterior motive, because obviously it was covering their own ass as well in terms of financial gain. So, like,
and to be fair, Carragher did actually point it out, didn't he? He did point out that we benefited in what Sky. Yeah, Carragher did say the hip.
That was like just a basic counter argument to make your point seem more relevant, like an essay or something like that. It meant absolutely nothing. Absolutely.
But the thing is as well, right? The thing is with as well why it's not as effective, because I know the protests are basically to get him out of the club, right? I feel like obviously with the Liverpool owner, as much as he's tried this time and time again, anytime they've piped up, he's backed down time and time again. When Liverpool fans, he's always backed down and done a U-turn. I don't know about Levy, if he will ever leave or anything like that. You've got Chelsea, the so-called saviors of football, right? They're the only club I've seen that haven't been saying, do you know what, you need to get out. They're very quiet. They're we're going to have this big protest, but don't leave, Daddy Roman, please. We want to keep your money. Please don't leave us. Do me a favor. But your owners, this is the thing as well, right? I cannot see them leaving. For one, you need someone because I think Arsenal are worth 2 billion. You're worth 4 billion. You need to find.
Why are we with double Arsenal, by the way? What is going on? Can we
blame Ferguson? That's why.
Yeah, Fergie done it. Fergie skyrocketed the value. But so you're a global juggernaut brand. But this is the thing. So you're going to have to find people to buy your clubs who are willing to spend all of that money.
We've got the Saudi boys.
But then the Saudi, everyone's talking about Saudi ownership, right? Why weren't Saudi owners coming and trying to buy your club the first time? Why were they trying to buy Newcastle? Why didn't they try to buy Man United? Why not go after the biggest boys in the game?
We weren't for sale. I feel like this is the
but you can still put a bid in.
You can still. Obviously,
I mean, what's it? When Arsenal were there, Usmaan have put a bid in for it was 1 billion or more than that, and Kroenke said, "No, I'm good." And went to Everton,
and that's when people were still Kroenke this and giving him all of this stuff. And the thing is, so say it's not the Saudi guy, say you don't get another Man City or whatever, and it is another American or another a manager an owner that's going to want to spend all of that money, they're going to want to spend 4 billion or 2 billion, clear your debts. And then he's going to be looking, you're going to be thinking that he's going to be spending Man City money on transfers. He's going to want a return on that investment that he's putting in. He's not going to be.
We need a
it's going to, like I said, it's going to have to be a country that buys you, because if it's
Saudi Prince, come on, yourself, bro.
This is why.
Or Uncle Jeff.
Yeah, but why does everyone think that Jeff is going to come in? He's going to be like, I'm going to win you guys the league. Let's spend all. Just because he's got all of that money, don't mean he's Kroenke is super rich. Kroenke's mega rich. But he wants, obviously, his whole thing was making Arsenal sustainable. He has actually done a better job in that regard than the Glazers, because they've run up Man United into debt. At least then Kroenke hasn't done that. But this is the thing, when West Ham, right, we was rumored very recently, that there was Americans looking to buy us. I was one of the few people that was like, no, thank you. I'll rather chill with GSB for now, and then we'll revisit it and see who else comes along.
Yeah, you don't whatever you do, don't get American owners.
No, it's so I don't think it's as easy as you lot doing these protests, and they're going to be.
I don't think it's easy. We haven't even mentioned the Celtic thing. We completely forgot about, but it doesn't matter. We've almost run out of time. Yeah. But in terms of, is it easy? I honestly know it's not going to be easy. But as a Man United fan, this is the first time I can recall a moment where he's actually come out and spoken. You got it from our perspective as fans. He's been here for 15 years, right, lads? And he's never come to public. Ever. He's never ever put a statement out in public. Joel Glazer never done it. And I know people are gonna, and the fact that he's put a statement and said, I want to build no, he didn't even say build. I want to amend a relationship with the fans, a relationship that he doesn't have. I didn't know this guy existed. Like you could literally call him whatever you like, any random name, and I'll be like, oh, is that him? Like he's so irrelevant to us as fans. Like, and I feel like this is the first time because he's under a lot of pressure. And there's a lot of rumors going around that we want to sell for 4 billion. And I hear what you're saying. Obviously, if someone slaps a price on him, then obviously they'll consider it. But no one's ever done that. But this is the first time there's genuine little glimmer of hope. And I swear to God, us United fans are not going to let it go. Every single tweet on their social platforms under Man United, if you check it, it's glazes out.
Bro,
let's see if you can keep it up.
If you make him cry, he's just gonna wipe the tears away with like $100 bill. It doesn't mean a thing to him. If it did, he would have left long time ago. Same with Kroenke. And I think today in the I think he's in one of the comments. Where is it? I can't. By Aku, he says Josh Kroenke said that they don't have any plans on selling the club anytime soon. And like there's a fan from today.
I think Glazer said that as well.
So it's not gonna happen. It's just wishful thinking on our behalf. But this
is money makers.
I never thought Woodward would go as well. That's what I mean. I know he's not as big.
But Woodward's more. He's more replaceable.
Bro. I hear that, but honest to God, Woodward going right, and he's not a hero by the way. But Woodward going and just randomly like that was completely caught us all off guard. It was hope. I never thought this guy would go. He's basically got a dream job. He's getting a stupid amount of money. He's getting praised for doing the bare minimum within the media. Like
he was the scapegoat though, wasn't it? He was the sacrificial lamb. Like he was like, if he was
happy playing that role as well. He was happy.
Yeah. So they wanted his like. Let's let him go, and he can kind of take the heat. Look, we've addressed it. He's taking the blame. The heat is on him. And if you think about it, with these clubs,
I find it fun for that shit.
Like they're obviously their intention is to make a big load of money with your clubs. That's why they've gone into the Super League. So they're not obviously looking at these clubs of like to see themselves get out of the club. They're like, we want to get into the Super League. It's guaranteed money. They see your clubs as guaranteed money earners, and they're going to look for other ways to come. They've all said, like I think Man United and like so a lot of the clubs have said, we're gonna not give up. We're gonna find another way and a better way to do this. We still want to fix the money distribution in football and all of that. So they're not giving up. Their mind is still on. We're gonna find another angle at this Super League and we're gonna keep going. So their eyes on the
but that's what I mean. Like we said right at the start with Perez's comments, right? This Super League thing is going to happen. Our board is going to come back in 2 years or 1 year, whenever it may be, like jokes aside, and then they're going to reform it. As we said on yesterday's podcast, I said it. When they're going to do, when they announce the next time, it's not. Obviously, they're going to look at all the backlash they had, all the criticism, and ensure that those questions are answered, i.e. the promotion, the relegation thing. They're going to have different things in there, so they don't have the same criticism. They're not
because their thing was
the same thing again, are they?
Yeah, do you know what their thing was? They thought the Solidarity Fund would keep everything cool. Like no one's gonna go because it's like, obviously we're gonna all the money's gonna go to all of the football. We're gonna give you more money, like 6 billion, like 6 billion more than you get from Sky. Like everyone's gonna get that. So they thought everyone would be like, yeah, great, more money for everyone, more money for your club, my club. But they've seen that now. Okay, so that didn't work because what is it like? That Perez says maybe we didn't explain everything properly. Maybe that's why we got the backlash. So they're gonna come in and think, how can we try it next time and make it a little bit more palatable? Maybe we'll concede a certain point, but we'll get this thing going. So yeah, like I said, the owners, they're in it for the long run, like, and that is the thing.
I'm hoping they're not. So I'm gonna. I'm gonna put this last comment from Akil. We'll do the Scottish and then wrap it because I got to open them fast. Akil's saying sponsors are putting pressure, and the relationship with the fans, players, people at the club have all hit a low. This is the right time to protest. This is the lowest Man United stock has been in a long time. Of course, that is because Woodward's left, and that is inevitable that the stocks will drop. But nonetheless, you got to strike with the iron's heart, as they say, and it's definitely flipping hard at the moment. So hopefully, Saturday, 3 p.m., I'll be there. Obviously, hopefully, fingers crossed, loads of other people will be there. We're gonna
just don't make it embarrassing like Spurs, Usmaan. Like just honestly, to try and get more people than there.
Honest to God, I'm following who's tweeting it and seeing like every time I've seen it, there's been loads of engagement, like 4K retweets and whatnot on these people's tweets. I swear to God, if we don't get a couple of hundred people, all these Man United fans on your fraud.
How many of the fans are getting the train up for London? That is the thing. They're paying that price to get the train up for London.
Don't worry. They would have been at the Tottenham protest.
Is that my coach was?
That's what he was. Yeah, that's why he's not here.
That's my coach.
You got the wrong date on the Facebook.
Right, okay. Speaking of Spurs, a quick score prediction. Let us know in the chat. Obviously, if you're still tuning in, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all the support. Anyways, as I've said, Spurs against City to start. Cup final, Jose Mourinho sack. We didn't even mention it because it was so irrelevant, as our Spurs. But let's go. Loris, what's your score prediction, mate?
For Spurs versus who again? Sorry.
Spurs v City in the cup final.
How dare you? The cup is a very, very important trophy. It's the most important trophy in England.
Those teams are dead to me, so I haven't even kept up to date. They don't exist in this league. As far as I'm concerned, we're 9 points clear at top. That's all I'm saying.
What are you on about? Leicester or above you? How did you
No. Do you know why? Because if you take the teams out, results against the top. Yeah. That's how it works. That's the table everyone's been putting out there. So we're top of the table. Okay, we're winning the league. It's coming home. But prediction.
I'm a glory supporter anyway. So
it's going to be Man City. Man City are going to win the Carabao. It's their cup. Ryan Mason barely scraped to win. It was so funny. Spurs fans were trying to hold on to anything. They barely scraped to win over the worst formed team in the league. And they were like, oh, it's an improvement. Look, we've finally got Spurs back.
So
and look what Gareth bad.
It's so cringe, it's unreal, honest to God.
It's desperate.
Bro, it is desperate.
They played well, to be fair to them. They played well.
No, when Ings went off, Southampton were taking the piss out of them. When Danny Ings went off, and this is why I don't want that guy at my club, because these injuries are a joke. Then that's when they started to come into the game, Spurs. So what do you think Man City is going to do to them? And in their cup? I'm sorry, there's no way.
So you saying City is winning by a transfer?
Yeah, City's winning. They sacked their trophy winning manager. Man City are going to win 3-1.
Okay, fair enough. Gail, what are you saying?
Oh, it's got to be a nightmare. It's got to be disgusting. I might be 4-0, 4-5-0. I think with Jose, they stood a chance. Without him, they don't.
Okay.
Yeah, he would have found a way.
They're going to get counted.
I'm just going to say, because it's a cup final, it's going to be tense. But 3-1 City. Right, anyways, moving on to... Let's just do our teams in it, because I really need to dip. We'll save the best game to last, which is the Chelsea game. Arsenal v Everton. It's kind of a dead rubber, this one, really, isn't it? Like Arsenal.
Not for Everton. Everton still trying to get as close as possible to that.
Spurs will win 2-0 in the chat. What is he smoking?
5-0 to City.
Right, Kiel, what do you reckon? Arsenal v Everton. What's his score prediction, mate?
Everton haven't beat. I think we're at home. I think Everton haven't beat.
Do you rest your players, Vado? Okay, just quickly. Do you rest your players because you got the Europa League game next week? If I'm right.
What players to rest? All our main players are injured, man. So
I know, but surely you're thinking about that game with Villarreal. No,
yeah, of course. You don't want to risk it, but you never know in football. I think we're home. We are home. I think Everton haven't beaten us in 20 years at home. I think I saw that somewhere. I can't.
Stats are made to be broken, mate. Especially.
But no, here's the thing. Here's the thing. It will be broken this weekend.
And will the protests have an effect? That's the interesting thing as well.
On Arsenal, come on now. Everton 2-0.
2-0, right? Yeah. Okay. Lawrence, what are you saying?
I'm saying 2-1 Everton. I do think Everton will win. They've got a lot more to play for in this Premier League.
Everton have got a lot. I've just looked at the table, so they've got a game in hand. If they win that, they are 3 points. Is that it?
It's close.
This is huge for them.
Up top 4. What's going on here?
Potentially, I could see a draw, but I'm gonna
So
push
it's-
Everton win.
I told you don't sleep on Merseyside Blue, man. Don't sleep on it.
I've just done the maths. That means it's going to be 100% a 1-1 because Everton bought it every time they got.
They do. That is what I'm thinking. Like because they do bottle it a lot.
Someone's put a 1-1 in the chat as I've said it as well. Everton bad for 1-1.
I'm gonna stick with my 2-1, but I could fully see a 1-1.
I'm definitely Everton and getting the 3 points. So either they lose or they get a draw. Right, okay. Man United leaves. I believe it's at Ellen. I know it's at Ellen Road. What we're talking about. Last game was like 6-3 or something. I don't even remember. Lost count 6-2, something 6-2 might be. Lawless, what do you reckon?
It's got to be the revenge time now. Leeds have to avenge that last fixture. They can't let their rival. They're hated. First game back in the Prem against their hated rivals, and they get slapped like that. Bielsa's going to come back with a vengeance. A lot of the teams from the Super League are struggling right now. I think Leeds do it.
It's true. Of the teams from the
struggling in the games. Every game.
It's just funny that you said that as a sentence. It's like that's had some sort of bad cloud on it or something.
It's just true. And then you're going to have all of these little protests and stuff.
City win the pricks.
I think Leeds will win 3-2. Leeds.
All right, fair enough. To be honest, it wouldn't be a shock given the way they attack. Kale, what do you reckon?
3-0 United. Manchester.
What? Yeah.
Wow. What?
I don't think they're going to pose a threat.
I don't think I'm not that confident, to be honest. But I'm going to say 4-1. No, I'm joking. I'm going to say 4-2 Manchester United. Honestly, I think Leeds is the team.
Glazier's in. That's what it's going to be after that.
Leeds playing to our hand perfectly. Look, I might be wrong. They might punish us because they're very good going forward, and our defense is poor. But they're really playing to our hand with this expansive football. We love space, and if they give us space in abundance, we should be able to punish them. Right, last game, but not least. I think we missed out the Liverpool game, but we'll do that one quickly. Liverpool against Newcastle. I'm just going to say 2-0 Liverpool. Lawless, what do you reckon?
Where is it? Is it Anfield?
Anfield, yeah.
Anfield, yeah.
1-0.
I wish that's true. Kiel, what do you reckon?
If Newcastle manage a result out of this, it's just going to put more fire, more flame of my anti-Arteta.
That Liverpool haven't got centre back, so there's always that thing.
Like I was saying,
Saint Maxim,
Almiron, the anti-Arteta agenda. Because boy, if Newcastle get a point, 1 point from that game, I don't know, man.
Steve Bruce for Arsenal confirmed.
Right, okay. Let's move on to I just got what you said there. Right, let's go on to the most important game. Obviously, I'm going to ask for a score prediction, but Lawrence, obviously, you can give us a little 30-second but I know you're going to do a preview and all that good stuff. So yeah, this is the game, really. To be honest, for me personally, for my team to get in the Champions League, we need to get a result here. Come on, West Ham! Come on. Right, Lawrence, what do you reckon, bro? I'll come to you first. Go on. What do you think?
This game is huge. This game is huge. Everyone knows it.
Am I right?
It's at West Ham.
Oh,
it's
sorry,
at West Ham.
Okay, cool.
We have to win this game. This game is massive. Premier League
top 4 for me,
versus Super League. Good versus evil. This is everything. The whole of the football world is on our shoulders. Everyone wants to see us win this game. Of course, we're doing it for everyone. We have to do it, and we have to finish top 4 to stick 2 fingers up at these teams. Imagine
Leicester and West Ham in top 4. That would be beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
The 2 fingers.
We have the second best home record in the league behind Man City. That is big. Lingard, thankfully, he's still fit. We've lost Masuaku again. We've lost Creswell. Right? Creswell's missing this one. Ogbona's back. So it's going to be tough. But listen, Lingard is on fire and he's going to be dancing all over those guys. I'm going to say all of our games have had 3 goals scored by one side or another or both sides.
It's been 3-2, 3-1.
I think this will be different. I think we'll do it 2-1. I think we will do it 2-1. They drew against Brighton the other day. They've got their eye on the Champions League.
If you win this, I think you've got top 4 of the Chelsea because of their fixtures.
It's huge. It's going to be tough, and I don't think that if we lose it, top 4 is completely over. We've got a good run of fixtures at the end. However, so even if we get a point, it's a great result, and obviously,
I think we can take a draw. Yeah, as long as you don't lose. To be honest,
I would take a draw, but a win.
If you don't lose, I think you're still okay.
We need to bounce back after that Newcastle game, and I can't remember. There's a stat or something about us not losing many games back to back this season, or like it's not really happened. I don't touch wood. I'm touching the wood. West Ham 2-1. Please. My watch along on Saturday, I'm gonna be a mess. I'm gonna be a bag of nerves.
I might be missing the game because I'm at this protest.
Yeah, see, you might. There's no point. Don't go to the protest. They're staying anyway. Like, no point. Just leave it.
No, I'll have to go. I've committed to it. Right, Kel, what do you reckon? What's his score prediction? He's gone 2-1 West Ham, obviously.
80 to 90th minute. Goal scored in there. 1-0 Chelsea.
If that happens, like
it's got to be Mason Mount, isn't it? It's got to be. It's got Ziyech, one of them two. But honestly, I do think Chelsea are the favourites to go into it, only because West Ham's a ridiculous injury list at the moment. There's too many injuries for you guys. The key players as well. Obviously, Rice and Cresswell for me. As you know, I've been singing Cresswell's praises. J-Links is still there. I'm going to say a draw, and I think that would be a brilliant result for West Ham, given Chelsea's fixtures. I believe they've got like Leicester, Liverpool,
Man City.
Let's have a quick gander of Chelsea's fixtures.
Arsenal.
They've got. That doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, but for some reason, you lot turn up against Chelsea. There's always that time where you'll just be you'll be doing really shit, and then you just throw like a spanner in the works.
If you don't lose this game, I think top 4 is firmly in your hands. Yeah, to avoid defeat because they've got Man City. They're not beating Man City. I hope they do, from my perspective.
Yeah, because after this, Declan Rice is ahead of schedule. He's due to come back.
I'm going to say 1-1 draw.
Due to come back. 1-1 draw.
I'm going to say Mason Mount, and I'm going to say Souček. I don't know why I've got a feeling he's going to score.
J-Ling's going dry that game.
Right, we'll save that for another day. But listen, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has tuned in. If you are still watching, make sure you drop a like on the video. Obviously, subscribe to the channel. Before we go, as we just said, Chelsea v West Ham, huge game. Make sure you check out the preview, the content. It's going to be fire. Lawless, let the people know where can they find you.
Obviously, at the Lawless. Twitter at the Lawless. West Ham Fan TV, everything else. Come check out the watch along with us tomorrow. You can also check out my channel with Jace, Dan, Damo, and Jace, with them two guys. Do search up and subscribe because we got our studio being built as we speak. So it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big.
Big things, yeah. That's gonna be quality. That as well. With Jason Lawless, can you imagine these two just sat there arguing? It's gonna be absolutely priceless, man. You love to see it. Kale, where can the people find you, brother?
You can find me on the Free Midfield podcast, Free Midfield on Twitter, on SoundCloud, Spotify. On YouTube, it's Free Midfield podcast. So SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcast.
The one time coach was not here, forgot one thing.
Bro, I feel like I forgot something, but I can't remember anyway. So it was not that important. But yeah, Free Midfield, Twitter, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcast.
Your theme song, right, has been stuck in my head all week. It's been stuck in my head all week since I was on it last time.
And Free Midfield podcast on YouTube.
Yes. Listen, make sure you show love to the guys. Obviously, always showing love to us. Drop a like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Usmaan Talks United. Stay tuned for the Glazers Out protest vlog. It will be live at some point Saturday. Hopefully, I'll be somewhere celebrating the West Ham victories while blowing bubbles at OT. You'll love to see. It's been your boy, Usmaan. We'll be back tomorrow with some more.